on Messenger, you could like just like thumbs down react to somebody if they say something stupid, right? Because there's no dislike. So it got frame perfect down 5, and then as more people saw it, like literally everyone in the group thumbs it down. So it had 100% thumbs down rate. Even Kage thumbs down himself at one point at a realization that he was stupid. I look very salty a lot of the time when I'm just actually it's just me and my thought process. When I'm thinking about something, when I'm in deep thought, when I'm in like I guess like in space or like dans la lune or whatever the expression is in French, I just have a very I don't know, I just look annoyed. I'm not annoyed, I'm just thinking. And this is where I knew about Puff because one of my cousins played Puff. And I remember when he arrested someone, I thought that was pretty cool because it made a cool noise or whatever. So when I saw the documentary, it was like some things were familiar to me, if that makes sense. I don't know, like people like to say that like I got good quickly, but like to me it was just like it's hard for me to pinpoint. Like it's like having a pile of sand. Like at what point does it become like if you take a single grain and drop it and then you drop another grain, like at what point does that become a pile? Like it's hard to say exactly, right? Like you understand what I'm saying? Like I don't know at what point exactly I quote unquote was like, oh, I'm getting good. Like it was just a continual thing, right? I was born in West Island, a little place called Beaconsfield, and it
In
was
Montreal.
April in Montreal, yes.
Yeah.
April 18th, 1997. Apparently it was snowing, but I was a baby, so I don't remember, right? Obviously.
So that makes you how old? 24?
I'm 23, turning 24 soonish, I guess you can say.
All right, all right. And so
Old champ.
I know you first starting play competitive StarCraft before, so I want to talk about that. But
Sure.
um, when did you want to stop playing StarCraft to switch to Melee?
Um, I played StarCraft basically all throughout high school, very competitively, like probably like 2011 to 2014, I guess. 2014 towards the end of 2015. Um, and I guess I don't know, I just got there's a lot of reasons I got bored of the game, but I mean balance was a big one, and just like seeing the direction the game was going, I could just tell that I wasn't gonna enjoy it in the future.
You
So
had
then
to.
I started watching Melee after I watched the documentary and like really late to like maybe I don't remember if it was end of 2014 or early 2015. It was somewhere around there. I'm not sure exactly. I remember my first weekly was around early 2015 though. I just started going to weeklies right away. Pretty much just switched over because I saw the documentary, seemed like a cool game, and then I just like did some research, like what's a good character that's easy. People said Puff, so I'm like, all right, bet. I'm gonna get better. That's pretty much it.
Wow, that's an all different stories than what we heard before. So you actually never had a casual phase.
Mm, I played as a kid. Actually, it's pretty funny. My cousins, we played Melee like whenever we went like for family visits for birthdays or whatever. We'd have two games we'd play. We'd either play Mario Party or we'd play Melee. But we had a very interesting. We had like some people have like the story of they just completely casual. They just play on high roll with items or whatever. We had a very interesting dynamic. We didn't play time. We played stocks first off. We played items, but we only play Pokeballs. That was the only item we played with. Because even as kids, we thought the other items were BS, I guess. So we
But
played free,
Pokeballs are so fair.
but Pokeballs were too fun, so we had to play with them.
True, true.
So we played 4-player free for all with Pokeballs, but we played like some stages we thought were too dumb. And we played kind of like semi casually, I guess, like better than the average casual. I'm sure we were better than the average casual. Um, and this is where I knew about Puff because one of my cousins played Puff, and I remember when he arrested someone, I thought that was pretty cool because it made a cool noise or whatever. So when I saw the documentary, it was like some things were familiar to me, if that makes sense.
So you played casually, like,
I
but
played casually as a kid, yeah,
then
but
when
then
you
and
started
then
playing
I hadn't
StarCraft.
played I hadn't played for years though. Like I mean when I'm talking casually, I mean I was like 10 or 11 or 12. Like this was years ago.
Mm-hmm. Um, and then what got you into StarCraft, actually?
Um, that is a good question. I think the YouTube algorithm just spat out a day 9 video that I ended up watching, and then I got into it that way. I just saw the game, never played RTS before. Game looked really cool to me. Um, Looked really interesting, just like aesthetically, and then I don't know. I just have a habit if I see something that looks cool, I just like just do some research about it, and if I like it, I'll just keep playing it, right? And that's that's how it goes for a lot of games for me.
You're a hardcore gamer.
I am a sweaty gamer, yes indeed.
um, what was your neighborhood like? You're from a pretty nice part of Montreal.
Yeah, what can I say? It was a pretty upper middle class, I guess you can say. Pretty nice, pretty white high school. Although my high school had
Some colors.
maybe lack of funding in some areas. There's some pretty funny high school stories I could tell. There's some pretty sketchy things that happened, but
Go
I mean,
ahead.
I don't know. My neighborhood, I like where I walked. Like I would just walk home from high school. Oh, you want to give an example?
Yeah, we're teasing. We're
I'm
teased.
trying to think of some funny ones. I think this one was kind of funny. Our science class, our blinds. I don't remember what happened. They for some reason they broke, right? And it was very annoying when you're trying to do like work and the sun was just like shining right on your paper, right? And the teacher was like constantly trying to get to school to get these blinds, but they just wouldn't. For whatever reason, they wouldn't fund them, right? So he was just like, fuck you guys. He took a bunch of like, like the super cheap like brown paper towel the schools get in like mass.
Yeah.
He took like 5 layers of that and like duct tape and just like taped it over the windows. So when you walked into the science classroom, it looked so sketchy because there's just this giant ass like paper towel mound with like duct tape all around it. It just looked very funny.
Rather never see the sun again.
Yeah,
To end
I just thought that was
feeling
really
this.
hilarious, and
Yeah.
it looked kind of sketchy, right? And then there was like like high school kids being high school kids and like doing drugs in the bathroom and stuff like that. But that's pretty par for the course, I'd imagine.
Some people say that there's even more drugs in higher end,
That's probably
high school.
true, to be honest. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, or hard drugs at least.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I was a very normie kid. Very, just like, I don't know. Nothing, I didn't do anything crazy. Just a normie.
But
Just played video games a
does
lot.
a normie like grind StarCraft though?
Well, I was just very quiet and just like kind of kept to myself. So I had like my small group of friends and like, because I think I've been gaming for so long, I was just kind of like immune to like bullying. People would say something to me, I just really wouldn't care. It would just kind of slip off my back. So people would just like leave me alone. So I just kind of was just very, very quiet just to myself. And then during class, I was just like doing fucking StarCraft builds and like thinking about like definitely not school stuff while I was in class, right? It was a lot like last of my
So
worries. But
even though
high school,
you looked like a nerd, like people would leave you alone just because you had uh, you knew how to answer, or you didn't
I
care
think,
because of the internet toxicity.
I think the internet toxicity kind of taught me to like just like not get bothered by people throwing insults my way. So I've been like that way for a while, and then I guess I have like a kind of a snarky sense of humor, and I guess people like that, especially in high school. If you can like have a zinger, it's easy to like make friends if you're able to throw a couple jokes, and you're like not super awkward. I don't
Yeah.
think I even in high school I don't think I was super awkward. I was just more quiet than I am now, a little more shy.
Hmm. So you were funny and like you had a good personality, but you would rather keep it to yourself.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was a little less outgoing. I still think, yeah, I think my actual personality is the same. My political views are completely different, but besides that, I was a similar person, I guess.
And so you started grinding Minecraft, StarCraft. Were you most of the time at home,
Yeah,
grinding game?
yeah. I would sometimes stay like my standard schedule would be like get home, do homework, and then eat. Then I would play till like 4 or 5 in the morning, sleep for 2 hours, and then get to my morning history class, like sleep during that, then sleep at lunch, and then yeah, just autopilot all the other classes.
Okay.
That was pretty standard for the course for me at the time.
For how many years?
Like 2 years when I was like really hard grinding it.
The
I was
end of
making actually like some money at some point. Um, I got kind of scammed out of a bunch of money, but
that,
that's a whole other side. Yeah,
that's
be
the
very
end of
skeptical
a.
of esport orgs when they're trying to sign you to contracts and you're a kid. Just
Oh.
be very suspect. That's all I'm
Oh
gonna say.
shit! By esport orgs. I thought by like
Hmm.
other players and bets and stuff, but
No. Just by orgs and then tournaments that never paid me out and just like shady stuff in general. But I was like very I wasn't jaded yet as a kid, so I just believed people when they told me stuff on face value, right? So
yeah,
yeah.
normal. So that was the end of high school.
Yeah, that's also part of the reason I quit too, is being kind of jaded from getting scammed like over and over. Also added to it.
What a weird competitive field. Is it always like
Well,
that for StarCraft or?
well, I think I wasn't really a pro. I was like a semi-pro, right? I guess you could say like, the equivalent of being like the lower end of top 100. So like you're not really gonna make like big bucks, right? But you can like assign to these like semi-pro teams and like do like crew battles and do like small like local tournaments or like regional tournaments. But a lot of the online stuff could be kind of sketchy sometimes. And some of the orgs that just were trying to like get like I don't even really understand like how like what the business model of some of these orgs were, but I guess like some of them realized going into it that like I can't make money, so I'm just gonna like take advantage of these players and like just drop them when I have the opportunity to, right? I guess I don't know.
Hmm.
I wouldn't say it's a standard, but it definitely happens. It happens in other games. It happens in the league. It happens in other games too. So, especially to like younger kids that don't really do the research and they just sign a piece of paper because LOL, I'm a kid and this is free money.
I'm a pro.
Mhm.
But that doesn't happen in Melee, right? Not really.
Well, Melee's not established enough of an esport for stuff like that to happen. I mean, the people get signed to orgs, but I mean, I haven't actually seen any of the details of these contracts, but I assume they just like. Well, I mean, I'm not going to assume anything. I don't know for sure, but I really doubt these contracts have like a very like a large amount of money these players are getting paid to. It's probably just like paying for their fees for travel and stuff for most players, unless they're like top and have a huge advertising appeal. Then obviously it's different. I mean, I imagine. Like I said, I haven't seen them, so I'm only guessing.
So then you get annoyed by StarCraft. You switch to Melee. You learn that Puff is easy and you can win with her. So you start grinding at home first before going to tournaments?
I wouldn't say like I thought she was easy. I just like I remember asking around for like because like I'm the type of person that's like if I want to get good at something, I'm not gonna like beat around the bush and try to do it the hard way. Like I might as well try to do an optimal path. And that's what people seem to like say. It was like, what's a top tier and like what's one of the easier top tiers? And like a lot of people seem to say Puff, which seemed accurate.
Wow. It's actually I'm always like fascinated by that competitive mentality that you have. That you decide to grind it this way optimally. So you grind it from home first on that play?
Yeah, I played on the old sketchy, terrible net play. It was absolutely horrendous.
Before Faster Melee?
Before Faster Melee, yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible. I didn't even have a CRT set up for like at least 6-7 months.
You got a CRT set up before attending your first Smash Loft Weekly?
No, I didn't have a CRT set up, I'm saying.
Oh, so you started attending as soon as you started
attending? Yeah. Even before I got in that play, I just started going. Even when I was terrible, I went.
Okay, so
never went 0-2, even as a noob, but never went 0-2
time,
though.
Do you remember your first time at the Smash Loft?
I went 1-2, not 0-2. I remember I went 1-2.
And how did it go? In general, like,
I mean,
how'd you feel?
I'd already been playing a bit. So before I went to the Loft Weeklies, there was actually West Island Weeklies. This is like only for my West Island boomers in chat, if anyone can remember. There was actually these at a card shop. They hosted these West Island Weeklies, and I went to a few of those. And I made friends with Jedi. I don't know if you remember him.
Yes.
But I was very good friends with him at the time.
Yeah, I can.
He was like the first friend I made in the community. And at the time, like, yeah, I just got out of high school. I still was like a little more shy. So getting, especially to newer game, I don't know how to play the game. Just going up to someone and like, with StarCraft, it's like a whole online thing, right? So you don't have like in-person interaction. So my only in-person interactions previously were just like high school and like IRL stuff, right? So I was a lot more to myself. So having someone that was easy to talk to was kind of nice. So yeah, Jedi was, has a very big voice in the room and is easy to kind of just like, he's just like, he's just a very friendly guy, so it was easy to make friends with him.
Yeah. So your first weeklies were actually not at the Smash Loft.
Yes, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I went to like 5 or 6 of the West Island weeklies, which were pretty scuffed, but it's good practice.
Never got O2 there either.
I don't. Man, you'd have to pull up the challenge links. I don't think I from my memory, this is such a long time ago. It was like 5 years ago, so it's just like hard to remember. But I don't think I ever got O2 from my recollection.
Okay. Then you started grinding on that play. You switched to the Smash Loft. What was your first objective? Getting PR'd in Montreal, beating some players in particular? How did you set up your goals?
So I got better pretty quickly. Yeah, I don't know if you talked to Kyle about this, but I remember with the first Smash Loft I went to, I wanted to like money match someone that was good just to see like how much better they were, because no one at the West Island Weeklies was like that good. So I money matched Kyle, And then I don't
Oh,
remember exactly what he said, but because he never seen me before, right? I was just a completely just random new person. And I remember him telling me like, I think you could be really good if you like just got kept coming to weeklies. I remember him saying that, which I thought was pretty cool. And I didn't know at the time at all, right? So I had no idea that he was. I didn't even know that really like how committed he was to like TOing and like the stuff in the region. He was also kind of competing at the time, but it was kind of an interesting thing for him to say, and I thought that was kind of cool. So it's a random little story. If you ask him, he might remember. This is a really long time ago. I money matched him, and he played his ices, and I lost to his ices. Yeah, 2-1, 2-1.
wow. How
I was
ironic.
terrible at the time, so make fun of Kyle for that. That he lost to my like 2 month puff, 2-1.
Oh wow, you always get away with it. You lost, but you still want us to make fun of the other guy.
Yeah, I've been playing for like 3 months, bro.
Who were your first training partners? Do you just practice on netplay or?
I would practice on netplay the most. And this is really scuffed netplay, so it wasn't great practice, but it was enough to get like matchup experience. And then I would do solo practice a lot. I did a lot of solo practice, more so than playing against people. Solo
Mm.
practice and like VOD analysis since the beginning. Because I had experience doing VOD analysis from StarCraft because that game is a lot about like doing VOD analysis on the replays, but this you just have VODs because of Baz.
Wow, that's great. So, did you get good fast?
At
At the,
Melee,
yeah, at the loft. Like,
um,
when did you start to realize that you took names?
I mean, I don't know. Like people like to say that like I got good quickly, but like to me, it was just like it's hard for me to pinpoint. Like it's like having a like a pile of sand. Like at what point does it become like if you take a single grain and drop it, and then you drop another grain? Like at what point does that become a pile? Like it's hard to say exactly, right? Like you understand what I'm saying? Like I don't
Yeah.
know at what point exactly I quote unquote was like, oh, I'm getting good. Like it was just a continual thing, right? I remember beating certain players for the first time as like a milestone, which was good, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You had like your first little rivalries.
I remember beating Morgan for the first time, which was funny because he was very
Morgan?
cheesed about that. Yeah. I remember beating like Morks for the first time, who was like playing Melee Weeklies at the time. This is like such a long time ago. I remember being happy about those. My first like really good wins, I guess like beating like PR players that were like on the upper end of the PR. And then the first PR that I was entered, I wasn't actually PR, I was honorable mention. You can actually check the old PRs. I'm pretty sure I went from honorable mention to fourth on the next PR. I think. I'd have to check. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure I was honorable mention like around Ballard and Jaeger, and then the next PR I jumped up to fourth. I'm pretty sure.
And did you want to travel for the beginning, or you wanted to wait to be good enough?
Say that again.
Did you want to wait to be good enough to travel to majors, or you wanted to travel for majors from the beginning?
No, I went to the first Shine, and I was pretty bad at the time. That was 2016, I believe. Could someone check for me? I'm not sure. I think it was
2016,
2016, the first
yeah, yeah,
Shine.
with Tranamo.
So I'd only been playing for like a year, if that, maybe like a year and maybe a bit more. So I wasn't very good at the time, and I did pretty bad. I was dead broke at the time too. I was in CJP. I didn't have a job, so like they just helped me. Like I remember I was just stealing other people's food because I literally went with like barely a dime in my pocket, right? So I was poor as hell at the time. It was a fun time. It was my first major. Um, that experience was cool. I remember doing pretty poorly, but that was the first major I went to. I did pretty bad. Then ever since that major, every major I went to since, I would say I did like at least decent. Like I didn't just like flop. That one I kind of flopped.
Mm.
The only other major I didn't do the greatest in was Big House. What was the Big House that Plup beat
4.
Armada at? Is that 6?
Oh my God, I'm not.
I got completely
Lotfi in
bracket fucked at
chat.
that tournament.
He knows everything.
I got like 7.
7.
Okay,
There you
7
go.
makes sense. Yeah, I lost to like two really good players for 129th. I beat like Bananas, and I lost to like I lost to two like top 50 players because one got like wobbled in the morning, so I had to play him in losers or something stupid. But besides getting bracket fucked at that one tournament, ever since that first Shine, I've done pretty well at majors. I think my consistency at majors has been like really good, which is why I
Um,
usually got top. It's usually why I got ranked top 100 because my all my majors I was like I never got upset basically.
mm-hmm. You always went over your seed.
I think I outplaced my seed at 9 out of 10 majors I went to.
Damn. But that first major, where were you oust at?
Um, I was at Morgan's. Yeah, I was at Morgan. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, the first shine.
Yeah,
Oh, nice, nice.
yeah. And I was becoming friends with Morgan and that crew at
At that
Morgan
time.
really didn't like me at first, but I guess I grew on him.
Why? Because you look unapproachable.
I don't know why. You have to ask him. I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, maybe because like I honestly I couldn't tell you. You'd have to ask him. But I know for sure he didn't like me at first. But then over time, got to know each other,
That's
and I
fair.
definitely appreciate his company. He's an interesting guy.
Were your parents always supportive about you getting so much deep into competitive gaming?
Yeah, like to them it was like as long as I'm doing my school stuff, it's like it's good to have a hobby, and it's like they were fine with it. I guess like they wish I'd like go out more, but they were fine with it, I
What
guess.
if you told them I'm now top 50 and if I grind this year, I might make a living out of this and I'm gonna
I
take a
never
break from
never
school?
planned to make a living out of start like any of my gaming stuff. It's just like a hobby for me.
You wouldn't appreciate uh, earning money from that? That's your full-time job.
Well, the thing is, being like a top 50 player, you basically can't make a living from this unless you're streaming constantly and have like really good viewership, or you're a top 10 player, basically. So the difference between being a top 100 player and top 50, let's say you're ranked 56 or you're ranked like 87. Is there really a difference in the amount of money you're making? Like neither of you are making money at majors. You're both probably winning your local money. Like I don't know. To me, it's like the same. What's the difference?
Mm-mm-mm.
Especially like I don't know. When you contrast it to actual esports with the actual prize pool, it's pretty stark difference. I never really planned on making a living from it, to be honest. I
So it's
just
just
like had it as motivation to want to get better. Is like, okay, I'll get more money, I guess, as I get better.
but the whole point was just improving in that game.
I've always been a very competitive person. I like having something, I like having goals, and I like having like challenges to overcome.
Speaking about that, we talked with Kyle and Tranimal about the competitiveness versus friendliness in a community or welcomingness.
Hmm.
You got kind of annoyed at people for not trying harder and grinding in Montreal, right?
Yeah, you say that.
How did that all started?
Um, well, this is like, yeah, we're fast forwarding quite a bit now. So like we're going to like 2018 now, I guess, when I was first in the PR. When I was going to weeklies, I was winning like 90 to like 95%. I was almost winning every weekly at that point.
Mm.
Um, and a lot of people that I was beating just stopped showing up. So I would go to weekly, and it'd be like me versus like, I mean, I don't know, like not like it'd be either like Lunar Dusk when he randomly showed up, or like sometimes it was um Tokage. It was kind of like these like
Mm-hmm.
random like kind of forgettable weeklies. And to me, I always enjoy the challenge of like, okay, I complete. It's like playing a game where you have to like beat certain bosses. So like getting up the PR was like beating a boss, right? But then once I got to the top, I was like, okay, I basically like quote unquote like beat the game. Like there's no like next like boss to beat. Like I'm the best player now. I whenever every weekly I go to, I have nothing to gain and I have everything to lose. Every time I lose, I get popped off on, or I get like everyone is like cheering against me slash like wants me to lose because I win most of the weeklies, which is perfectly understandable. I have nothing wrong with people cheering against me. It's completely understandable, right? But it was less fun to just play not to lose, right? As opposed to playing where I'm playing for the win, playing for the first time to beat Kagura, the first time to do this was a lot more exciting than it was to just like, all right, I'm just gonna clock in, win my games, and leave, right?
Do you think it's possible because some players will just always lose and have still come to
Yeah,
the
so part of the
social aspect?
reason I made that post, it wasn't necessarily to like call out anybody or like to flame anybody. It was just to, like kind of stir discussion more than anything else, which I think it did. And it was purposely worded in like a very inflammatory way, um, which is like fine. Like I wanted to like I'm okay with taking a bit of heat, and I guess some of it was aimed at Kyle, which I tried to avoid in the wording of the post. I said if anyone wants to talk to me directly, but I guess people just like ignored my words and got annoyed at Kyle. So I can understand why Kyle was kind of pissed at me for posting it, but I still think it was fine, personally.
Because like it would be against his view of a not as competitive
It's
community.
hard to balance a region when it comes to being very welcoming, to have huge weeklies for lots of players, and to have a hyper competitive mindset where everyone wants to get better. They're almost like directly opposed. So trying to
Hmm.
balance the two is very difficult.
Don't you think that if it's friendly, then people who want to be competitive can be competitive in that environment? But if it's competitive, then people who just want to be friendly can't really be friendly in that environment.
I think it can be both. Personally, I just think it's hard. Like I said, it's a hard balance. I think it's possible though, which is what I was aiming to do for Montreal. I
Hmm.
wanted us to be all friends and be all good at the game. At least I wanted to get more people good at the game. Was my goal.
I think you need to start with all being friends, because then we just keep on going to the left, and then we can get more
We
competitive.
a lot of us are friends already though. Like that was the thing.
But if it's just people with a headset not talking to each other, nobody's gonna be felt welcome. But if everybody's friendly, you can still be competitive in that
Yeah,
dynamic.
sure, yeah.
And so do you think it's possible to come from a very competitive mindset like yours and come back into a more friendly, just playing for fun,
Yeah, I mean, like
social?
past 2018, like 2019, I stopped traveling for tournaments. Like this is like yeah, it's 2019. I stopped traveling. 2019, 2020, I basically stopped traveling for stuff. I would still go to locals. I wouldn't like win them as much because I didn't really take them as seriously. I just went for fun, just to hang out, just to play. I would still win them usually, but like I would lose more often because I wasn't practicing anymore.
And did you enjoy that, or
Yeah,
would it feel like everybody cheering?
it was fun, but I missed the aspect of trying my ass off and like having a very hard difficulty to overcome.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Do you think with rollback, it makes it easier to grind against better
for
players?
sure. Yeah, for sure. I think when weeklies do come back now, people are gonna be way better.
Hmm.
The mid-level players that were the same level for like forever got a chance to really grind out the matchups and grind out specific situations that they weren't able to before. And certain players like Tokage and especially Lofty got a lot better.
Yeah. And online tournaments, you can play different high level players. Like just at Uncle Sam Maple Syrup, it's never the same top eight. So if you go to top eight, it's not always going to be the same players even. So
Right.
different
Yep.
bosses, even if they're in reach.
Yeah, exactly.
So your first major, let's go back to your first major. No, the ones after. Do you like some? Do you have your favorite major ever that you attended as a player?
Um, the Shine we went to is probably my favorite, and just in terms of like how fun it was.
Hmm.
Um, when it comes to a major I did well at, I mean, I really like Genesis too. Genesis was probably one of my favorites, just because I did really well and I had a good time there too.
Where are you housed at Genesis?
I had a friend of mine, in the Discord that I played. This is gonna sound funny. We played Fortnite together, and he just like randomly decided to house us one Genesis because we were like both like kind of me and Damien were both kind of fiending and competing at the time, and he just like he lives close to the area, so he just like flew us out just to hang out basically because we'd never seen him IRL before, so that was a good time.
Nice, nice. Where is Genesis?
Um, it's like fuck, what's the city called? It's kind of like a sketchy city. It's like here I need to Google it. I actually don't
It's
remember.
like South California, near the.
Yeah, it's in. Does anyone? It's somewhere in Southern California. I don't remember the city it was in
Did you
though.
went then by car, or
No, we flew.
you flew? Okay, okay,
Obviously, yeah. That's
okay,
like
okay.
2 weeks to drive.
Oakland. Mateo says Oakland. So yeah,
Oakland. Yeah, thank you, Oakland. Yeah,
that was one of your favorites.
Oakland was yeah. It was definitely a good time. But there was definitely some areas where we're like there was like a pre-tournament I went to and like going through like the kind of like the like I don't know what you want to call it the projects of that area was kind of sketchy. Sheesh.
Really? It was
Yeah, yeah.
sketchy. What, like, why? What happened?
I don't know. It just like a lot of homeless people, and it was just like I don't know. It's kind of sketchy.
Whereas in Shine, it was so beautiful in
I mean,
Boston.
Boston, you're in like the bougie downtown Boston,
Oh,
so it's like very, very nice.
and also Morgan, who was housing us, lives in a
Yeah, and
pretty
Morgan's
bougie
housing us
neighborhood.
like cooking us god food, so that was nice
Yes,
too.
cooking us God food every
Thing is,
every
Genesis,
night.
I had such a high of how well I was doing at Genesis. When you do really well in a bracket, it's like definitely like a endorphin
Yeah,
pleasure.
so like performing wise, it's Genesis, but social wise, it would be Shine.
Yeah, I would say that for sure.
Do you remember when at Shine, Kage almost became an homeless person in Boston?
Yes, I remember that. I remember the legendary 18 plus thumbs down react. That was
Can you tell that story?
heroic,
Actually,
heroic. Okay, well, I'm gonna try to tell it from memory, but it was very funny. So we were a huge group being housed by Morgan.
Like
So Morgan
5
is
cars.
yeah, like 4 or 5 cars, and like his parents have like a pretty nice, similar to, I guess, the equivalent to like the West Island of like Boston, which is like the suburbs. His parents had a very nice, very big house in the suburbs.
Big garden.
Big, it's just like very beautiful place. And just very, very nice. And his family very, very friendly, very welcoming, just cool people. So we had like I said, 4 carpools, and I guess after the tournament there was like an after party or something. Was it an after party?
Yes,
Yeah, it
it's
was an
like
after
that
party.
place where players like Kage can have free drinks.
Yeah, so it was an after party that Kage went to, and then we were all basically the next day we're all getting ready to go, and we just like have like a question mark of where Kage is. We just don't know where Kage is. Oh wait, sorry. This was so we were leaving the venue like trying to find Kage, and we're
The
like,
thing is,
what-
like, we decided as a group not to go to the party because Morgan's place was so nice, but Kage really wanted to go.
We had a discussion beforehand, like we basically all agreed that we're not going. And then Kage wrote something like, I thought we were going to the after party, question mark. And it was like something really goofy. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something like that. And then instantly it got like 5 thumbs down, like instantly, like the like frame perfect thumb. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, or this is still a thing now on Messenger. You could like just like thumbs down react to somebody if they say something stupid, right? Because there's no dislike. So it got frame perfect down 5. And then as more people saw it, like literally everyone in the group thumbs it down. So it had 100% thumbs down rate. Even Kage thumbs down himself at one point at a realization that he was stupid. So yeah. So eventually we somehow found him. I don't even know. I think he like had to like had to like Uber himself to a McDonald's, and we rescued him. I don't remember exactly what happened, but
the rest of the story is we go to Morgan's and we tell him, please be ready tomorrow. Like whatever happens tonight, come back to Morgan's before like 8 a.m. tomorrow because we're leaving at 8 a.m. And Kage, when we went to Boston, he was late at the meeting. So Gabriel, Leroy, who was driving Kage, he was super nervous that Kage wouldn't be there the next morning. Yeah. He was like really nervous.
Which is a smart thing to be nervous about. You should be nervous about this.
Yes, he was actually right. Because he told him, dude, if you're not there at 8 a.m., I'm leaving. I swear I am not waiting. I waited for you in Montreal. I'm not waiting for you tomorrow morning. Please be there. And the next morning, Kage didn't sleep at Morgan's, and he's late, and he's asking for someone to come and get him. He's begging.
Rescue party, yeah, begging.
Messenger, please someone
rescue me.
I'm gonna stay in Boston. And I think Morgan finally said, "Oh yeah, whatever. I'm gonna go and get him." He took the subway the furthest he could get, and then Morgan came and picked him up, and everything went fine. But when he arrived, he told us that like he didn't sleep at Morgan's, so he told us that he actually slept all night on a bench in downtown Boston.
Yeah. Very sketchy, very funny. Like Kage's a big dude, so like sleeping on a bench can't be like that. Can't be the play. Yeah, that just can't that simply cannot be the play.
Yeah, if you have to sleep on a bench, you'd rather look like Kage.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That was
pretty funny.
Do you have another like anecdote like that?
For every like dumb story though at Shine, there was like definitely a few good ones.
Yes. Do you remember one in particular?
I mean, I thought some of them are pretty funny with you and more like the interactions between you and Morgan and his family, where like you're up early and just like talking to his family, and like Morgan like walked downstairs and it's like, what the fuck is this, bro?
So I'm a morning person.
That was so funny.
I always wake up really early in the morning. And so the first morning, I'm waking up, I go outside, I smoke, I take a walk, and then I come back, and Morgan's invites me to eat breakfast with his family. So I eat breakfast with his family. The next morning, same thing. I go for a walk, I stay outside, and they come, and Morgan comes to get me and says, "Hey, do you want again to eat breakfast with us?" So I said yes. The third morning Morgan was working the day before, so he stayed asleep. And then his family asked me if I wanted to eat breakfast with them. So I said yes. So when Morgan wake up, he comes into the kitchen and he sees me at the table.
I wish I saw his face. The way that I know Morgan has very facial, like very aesthetic reactions to things. I wish I could have seen his face.
Oh
I just
man,
wish.
he looked like You fucking dared to do that just because I invited you twice. You think you can already do that?
Yeah.
I saw all of this in his face. I felt bad. I think I said something like, I didn't ask for it. I swear. I swear they invited me. If I knew like this was gonna happen, I probably would have said no just to not live the situation.
They're
And
funny.
at this point, Morgan is not friends with me. I saw Morgan once at the Smash Loft. We played against each other. He said, pick my character and pick yours. And then I picked the matchup. He beat me like Falcon Zelda. And then he went to Kyle and said, hey, I just beat a newbie with my Zelda. That's my first interaction with Morgan. And I told that story to his family and they all laughed at him.
That sounds about accurate.
All right, enough about Morgan. That was the greatest
Legendary figure in the Montreal community. Very abrasive, very important person, I think, for the melee community for different reasons. But yeah.
Do you want to say why? Do you want to explain like how
I just think that him housing that many people and like he was a very competitive person too. And he was a very, I don't know, he's a very weird guy, but I really appreciate people that challenge my perspectives on certain things by being different, I guess. He was a very bizarro person, and he just had very interesting opinions about a whole variety of things, so I think that's really cool.
A unique thinker.
Sorry?
Right? A unique thinker.
Like yes, a very, very unique thinker, yes. That's one way to put it, for sure. Yes.
It's a compliment. I'm not saying this.
Yes, very abrasive, so I can understand people not liking him. That's totally fine. Like I said, to me, like being shit talked or like being like made fun of doesn't really bother me. It just kind of slips off my back. It's like whatever. It's not a big deal. And once you get over his abrasive personality, he gets to know you better. He's a very, very good guy.
Yeah, like I said, he would invite me to the morning after I roasted him with that. With that first set story, he's really kind. I think you need to be at that level with him. I think like me teasing him, made him more accept me.
I don't know. IRL Sundari.
The what?
Yeah, it's like the weeb meme with like the never mind. I'm not gonna try to say it again. I give up.
I'm too much of an army dude. Sorry. What is your biggest rivalry in Montreal? What was your biggest rivalry? Was it Kage or?
I guess Kage. I mean, we played them most weeklies against each other, so I guess you could say that was like my biggest rivalry. That or like, yeah, probably Kage. I say. If you asked anyone, I'd be curious what other people think. I don't think I really had a rivalry with Andrew because I was pretty good friends with him.
Legends Mark versus Crackers 2019. All right, Luffy. Your favorite set that you've played in?
My favorite set?
Yeah.
That's a good question. No, I kind of just cheesed him. That wasn't really a great set. I definitely was a way worse player. Did not deserve to win that. Just cheesed him. Feels good, man. I think my set versus Face Roll at Genesis was probably some of the best melee I ever played. So that's probably my favorite set just in terms of how good I played. I 3-0'd Face Roll in losers at Genesis, and I just like wiped him. I played really well, and he was really upset. That was probably my favorite set, just in terms of how well I played.
What is the set you're the most mad about?
I probably blocked it out of memory. I don't know. Most mad about? I know the set I was the most sad about, but mad about?
Well, go ahead with sad. It's practically the same thing.
No, they're actually completely different. I disagree. I don't think they're even similar at all. I think they're completely different. So I think the set I was the most sad about was Absent Page at Shine. When I practiced so hard for that tournament, and I just got Absent Page, he just said, good luck, and he just 3-0'd me in the most lame, boring set I've ever played in my life, and he just walked away without saying a word, and I was just so sad. I just nearly cried. I just went in the corner and just hid in the corner, the setup, the venue. I just found a little nook in the corner of the setup. I just sat there with my face in my lap for like half an hour. Then I got over it, but I was very sad.
Why? Because he showed you that.
I just practiced really hard for that tournament, and I just like felt like completely helpless in that set. It was very demoralizing.
The fact that he beat you in a simple way and didn't say a word to you.
Basically, just like he was so much better than me, and he just like basically made me realize that I was just like, at the time I felt very scrubby, and he just felt like unbeatable pretty much. So it was very demoralizing. So I was very sad. Yeah. I practiced very hard for that tournament. Most mad? I don't know the most mad. I've been mad at like weeklies, I guess. Probably getting wobbled at some weekly. I don't know, but who knows the weekly, bro? Like, just name a random weekly where Lunar wobbled me and I lost. That's probably the most mad.
Is there sets you actually didn't want to watch on YouTube after it happened, or you always analyze even though it felt rough?
I mean, I wouldn't analyze it the next day, but I would usually analyze like later. Some sets I wouldn't analyze if I felt like it was a waste of time though. Like if I'm winning a set, what's the point of me analyzing it? I won, right? It's pointless. I'd only analyze sets I lost.
You're not gonna analyze why you made a mistake and got grabbed and wobbled.
Well, I think watching a set you already won is like, it's like it's like just jerking off, dude. It's
Yeah.
like it's just for fun, man. Like let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it real. You're not learning anything. If you want to have a good time, watch yourself win. Like I get it, but are you really gaining anything from it? Not really, bro.
We can see how you could beat him even more.
No, that's a cap. That's not factual. You're just doing it to watch yourself. It's just fun to watch. I've done it. I'll do it. I'll do it. Fuck it, yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. If you play well in a set and you want to watch yourself win, but you're not learning anything from it.
And so you already kind of talked about it, but the big question of the podcast: why did you stop playing Melee competitively?
Yeah, I talked about it a bit, but I guess the main reason was as soon as I became the best in my region, well, there's a lot of factors too. I mean, there was like a lot of drama in the community outside the Montreal community that kind of made me want to disassociate with the Melee community with like the nightmare stuff and like the multiple child predator stuff that just made me very demoralized about the community in general. That, in addition to the fact that I was like the best already in Montreal, led me to be like, okay, what's the point of me playing right now? Like I can only travel to majors. At the time, my internet was like bad enough that I couldn't really play net play reliably, and it wasn't like good Melee, it was shitty net play. So I basically couldn't net play at all. I had to travel like an hour plus, like 2 hours to get to a weekly to like win and barely get practice. That was the only practice I can get. I had no access to practice, so the only practice I can get is my weeklies, which I'm winning anyways. Slash major, that's like 3 times a year I can go to that I'll probably won't do well at, and that's the only time I can practice is like friendlies at a major like 3 times a year. So I had no way to get better basically at at least I felt that way. I don't think that's true, but my mentality at the time was that, yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think a part of it was also realizing how far better the top 10 was, and that you couldn't reach that without better practice in Montreal,
Yeah.
or it would take years.
It felt very like an uphill battle, I guess, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like took a break and just focused on other stuff.
What did you start to do when you stopped Melee? You really took a break, even friendlies?
Focused on just like completing my deck at CJEP and then playing other games casually. And then since COVID started, I've been playing more Fortnite and enjoying that.
Are you grinding Fortnite? Do you have the same mentality, or you're more casual?
No, I'm grinding it right now. I'm getting pretty good.
You'll never play a game just casually, or
Hard for me to play a competitive game casually. I don't think I can.
you play like a Van Ham thing? I don't know. This is not
Well, Valheim isn't a competitive game,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's different. If it's a
Yeah.
competitive game where it's an esport, where it's your competition, I know I have faith in myself to get good at it no matter what the game is, even if it's a completely different genre. Like the games I've been good at are all like different, complete. Like you have an RTS game, which is like a strategy game, and then you have like a fighting game, and now this is like an FPS game. Like the completely genres, like completely different genres. They're not really related to each other. But I'm just like I have a knack for just picking up stuff and grinding it and having a good method for improving.
I think also starting from the beginning with the idea of improving, because even though yes, it's inherently a competition, Melee, it's me versus my friend, but at the same time, we wouldn't make this a big deal if we lost. And like I didn't see really the competitive aspect in this. Now that I'm in the community, I see it. And if I would start a new game, I'll probably grind it with a better mindset from the beginning. Yeah,
Makes
or
sense.
training regiment. So that must have helped you to have grinded the StarCraft before.
Yeah, so I have to credit a lot of my thought process and strategy for improving to Day9, who had like really great tutorial videos on StarCraft back in the day. I'm pretty sure they're still on YouTube. I could probably find a few. He made one video, was like how to think about improvement, which I think is like was one of the best videos I ever watched in terms of like improving at a game that still holds. Like I still use a lot of the strategies in that video to this day.
What is
So
his
I
name?
could
I'm gonna put it in the comments. And
his day 9 is the YouTube channel. He just does magic stuff now, but he used to do competitive StarCraft content like twice a week, 3 times a week. He was like he did so much Twitch content back in the day.
nice.
If you just like go to his YouTube channel and type like I don't know, how to improve or something, it would probably come up.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd
I'm
have to
gonna
find
look for it after.
I'd have to find the specific video. I think the name of the video is How to Learn and Improve. It was 9 years ago, very old video, but it's a very fantastic video.
All right, I'm
Here,
gonna look for it. The true or false. Do you saw them
True or
before?
false?
It's gonna be the same.
I saw them before.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be like a bitch like Andrew and not answer. You know me, I'll answer everyone.
Okay, so first one, Pino is a good player.
No, false.
Pino is funny.
True.
Okay, thank you. Your sense of humor is condescending.
True.
You're a lame player.
False.
Montreal is bad at melee.
True.
Tranimal is a dick.
True. Nah, actually, that's false. I'm just joking.
Legend looks inapproachable.
I've been convinced this is true. True.
Kyle is funny.
True.
Why do you think people think you're inapproachable?
I mean, talked about it. I never really thought about it before, but if you notice the weeklies, I'm always wearing a hat or a sweater. I'm always cold. I'm a very skinny guy. I'm a very cold. So a lot of times I have my arms crossed because I have a very, if I'm just like daydreaming, it's my natural pose. I think I just got it from school, I guess. I just have a natural pose of crossing my arms, and I find it very comfortable. I do this all the time. I do it at work. I do it at like when I'm at home. It's just a very comfortable position for me. But when I have my arms crossed, I never really thought about it, but it's a very closed body language, and it's like unapproachable, right? But if you actually come to talk to me, I'm being very friendly, right?
Do you look at the stream
So,
right now?
I'm not looking at the stream right now.
Because you also need just not to commentate the crossed arm, but also that face.
Yeah. I look very salty a lot of the time when I'm just actually, it's just me and my thought process. When I'm thinking about something, when I'm in deep thought, when I'm in like, I guess like in space or like dans la lune or whatever the expression is in French, I just have a very, I don't know, I just look annoyed. But I'm not annoyed. I'm just thinking. Yeah.
And when you're smiling and laughing, you're very approachable. You can see it, and you're actually someone that's really nice to talk to. So, okay, more melee related, true or false?
Keep
Fox loses to Marth.
True.
Marth is easy to have good results with.
False.
Jigglypuff is easy to have good results with.
True.
Falco is easy to have good results with.
True.
Falcon is easy to have good results with.
True.
Falcon is a brain dead character.
This one's like right in the middle. I guess true.
Sheik is a bad character.
True.
Sheik.
Is that one for me? that one is very true. That was like extra true.
Sheik,
true plus.
Sheik wins against Falcon.
True.
Okay, cool.
I'm not going that far. Relax.
Is Falcon a good character?
Yes, true. Very good character.
Falcon
I think he's one of the best characters in the game. I think he's like, sorry, is this still only true or false?
No, it's fine. We're done. Go ahead.
Okay. I think Falcon is like 3rd or 4th in the game. He's very good.
Really? That high? And Sheik is like 8th?
Like 7th or 8th. Let me look at the tier list 1 sec.
But why do you think that?
Okay, so my logic for tier lists is that Fox, Falco are the most common characters by far. So if your character isn't beating them or isn't going even with them, she's like the character is inherently bad, basically. So in my view, Puff goes like even with Falco and like maybe slightly loses to like Fox, or he goes even with Fox. So that makes the character like very good because she wins every other matchup, right? But you look at Sheik, she gets absolutely shit on by Fox and loses to Falco, and those are the 2 most common characters. Whereas I think Falcon does better against both characters, which is a hot take, but that's what I think.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and Marth is obviously I think the best character because he beats both. So I think Marth is by far the best character in the game.
Wow.
If I were to order it, it would be like might like see like so a lot of people like have like an S tier of like 3 characters. I think S tier is like really big in Melee. I think like you could like win majors with like a ton of different characters. I think like my tier list would be like Marth, Puff, Falco, Fox, Falcon in some order. Maybe that order I just named. It's probably some order like that. And then after that, it's like Peach, probably then Sheik, and then Ices. But Ices and Sheik are pretty comparable, honestly.
Wow.
I think non-wobbling Ices and Sheik are very close, personally. I think non-wobbling Ices are a lot like really underrated against Fox and Falco. I think as people get better against the only thing is that Sheik has the potential for tech chasing in the future. So if people get really, really good at tech chasing, I'll improve my opinion of Sheik. I just don't think it's humanly that viable. I think Ices are really good against Fox and Falco, like very underrated, even without wobbling.
Wow.
I don't know. People sleep on that character. The character's really good.
Maybe just because Icy's been wobbling, so we could see really the depth.
I think with wobbling, I think Ices were better than Peach and Sheik. I think they were like very extremely good character. I'm a very results oriented person, and objectively, Icy's results were incredible. For how bad a player was, how good they could do.
But isn't it also how many players are playing the character that influences?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so
there was a decent amount of Ice Climbers mains, but not as like. Think about how many Peach mains there are and how many Ice Climbers mains there were, and think about top 8s. How few Peaches made top 8s and how many random Wobblers made top 8s.
That's true.
That's just like to me. That's just proving the pudding, right?
Yeah.
And like
we don't have wobbling.
It's definitely a real thing where you get wobbled in the morning because you're not warmed up or not playing well. It's a best of 3, you might just get wobbled, right? But now without wobbling, Ice Climbers are a lot more skill dependent, and a lot of the Ice Climbers that relied on wobbling kind of just quit because that's like the kind of their niche was just like wobbling to win. But the Ice Climbers that are still grinding and are still good, like Slug is a good example. They can still do extremely well, and they can still be great players because the character is very good. But most underrated character in Melee is Ice Climbers, and then Peach is also kind of underrated, but she has weaknesses. So
one last thing I wanted to get into was your mentality in Melee in general. Okay. You told me right before the podcast that you like never got nervous. You don't get nervous?
Oh, I get nervous.
Okay.
I was talking about interviews and stuff.
Oh, okay. But,
yeah, like talking to people, I don't get nervous. That's what I thought. Because you're saying that you're nervous doing it, like about doing the podcast. I say I don't get nervous doing like interviews and stuff anymore.
Yeah. But would you get nervous in tournaments to the point of playing less good?
Yeah, well, of course. Every major, I feel like I played probably worse than I could have, except for Genesis. I thought I was playing really well at. I mean, you know me. I got so nervous, I lost my appetite. I just couldn't eat at majors. I wouldn't eat all day. Because when I get really nervous, I get like kind of nauseous, and like when you're nauseous, you lose your appetite. So I would like, I would only be able to like drink water or like have like a very light like a yogurt or something. Otherwise, I would like get extremely nauseous to the point where like I feel like I was gonna throw up.
You still gave me the vibe of having a very good mentality in tournaments. And
I think at majors, I had a really good. I think that's part of the reasons why I was so consistent at majors, because I had a very good mentality at majors.
What's the difference between a good mentality and nervousness? Isn't that like mutually exclusive?
They're definitely connected, but I definitely think they're different. So like a good mentality has to do with the fact how you're able to take a loss, how you're able to take a dumb stock, how you're able to take a dumb situation and keep playing well. And what was the other one? Mentality and
nervousness.
What was the other? Right. So and nervousness is just your general how well are you playing overall. So one is your ability to like deal with a shitty situation, and the other one is just an overall how are you playing, or like how you're able to like process information. I guess they're a bit different.
But mentality also involves what are your inner thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. I think I held my I think there's certain players that are like a lot better than me at Melee, but since I have a better mentality than them, I'll do better than my majors. Like I think Damien is a good example of that. I think Damien's a better Melee player than me, but I have a much better mentality for majors than he does. So I'll probably outperform him in my majors until he like deals with that.
But your inner thoughts weren't related to
no, I was never like I would feel like like nauseous or nervous, but when I actually got into a match, I would kind of like relax. Like I had a very good ability to enter flow state into the tournament matches.
It wouldn't ruin your tournament state, your
Yeah.
game state.
Yeah, once I was in a match, I would relax. Yeah. And then after the tournament was over, it was always like a release of like so much stress, and I got so hungry after tournaments because like I need all day, right?
Yeah, eating burritos in Toronto
Burrito Boys with a Z.
After Gamal.
Damien only chooses when to lose. Yeah, that's factual. Or he flips a coin when he's playing against a Falco, and if it flips heads, he just runs off stage.
Oh my god, I think his worst set would be against Michael.
Yeah, don't bring that up, bro. It didn't ever happen. That never happened.
You said Falco, and I thought about that. I'm sorry, David.
You know those people that like believe in alternate history and like that like certain things are conspiracy theories? I believe that whole set was a conspiracy theory. All the evidence is fake. NASA faked it. Never happened. You can't prove it otherwise. I wasn't there, so how can I prove it? It's fake, bro.
Man.
Staged. It was all staged. It was all staged.
I think I went through all my questions.
Okay, cool.
Any other major memories you have? Maybe I know people love those. Sorry to put you on the spot like that.
I think a really funny one was I don't know if you remember this. There was a weekly that Kid came to the loft.
Yes.
And Kid is kind of a weird guy. But I won't even get into that. Just the end of the weekly was very hilarious. You remember this, right? Yeah, you remember this.
Yes.
So I was there, Kage was there. So I lost to him in winners. I just got wobbled by his like gimmick wobble setups. I was kind of annoyed. I'm like, okay, if I play him again, I know I could beat him. So he lost to Kage. And then I played him in losers, and I beat him. I beat him 3-1, I think, if I remember correctly. And he was just like saying bye to everybody. And then as soon like the frame perfect, as soon as the door closed as he exits, like close enough that he definitely could hear it, like 100%, not even a question. Jedi just yells, "Get fucked by Montreal, idiot," or something like that. It was so funny. Everyone, the whole venue started laughing because it was so like it was kind of cringe, but it was also kind of funny at the same time. It was like a perfect balance of like just very hilarious because he was right there. I thought that was so funny. I definitely was like having a good laugh over that.
From what I remember, the scene was literally him standing in the door saying, "Goodbye, everybody. Have a good night." Really kindly.
Yeah.
And
so
Jedi
nice,
just said, "Get fucked by Montreal, dude."
Yeah, he got third. I think there's like certain good players. Sorry just to go off on a tangent here. I'll stop after this. I think there's certain players that like Montreal would like really strive against, like Sheik and Ice Climber mains. I think there's some really good Sheiks and Ices that would be like ranked like third or fourth in Montreal, because like me and Damien are really good against Sheik, and like we're both pretty good against Ices. So like redacted from Genesis, over redacted force got beat by me and Damien for like 97th at Genesis, which I thought was very funny because like he was ranked top 50 at the time. And he just like lost to 2 PR people in Montreal. And I think there's like multiple players like that. I think Montreal has like very interesting strengths and weaknesses in certain matchups.
That's true.
Which is why with rollback, and if we had more like regionals and stuff, I think we would improve a lot as a region now. Yeah. With the ability to kind of fill out our holes, because we had really strong strengths, really strong weaknesses. But if we filled out like our holes and our weaknesses for our matchups, specifically with Spaceys from Montreal, but we improve a ton as a region.
Do you think that Montreal complains about people being lame more than other regions?
Average, I guess. I don't know.
Average.
I don't think we do. I don't think we do it more than other regions. I think we're less lame than other regions on average, though, for sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said that we weren't a good region, but we're not lame. Well, at least we're not that lame.
Well, I don't think we're like a cool region, but we're definitely not a lame region.
I've never.
Tsukage is very lame, and Lunar is also very lame, lofty. But I think I think all our good players are pretty interesting. Not saying that Lunar and Tsukage are bad. I said all of our other like besides them, our good players are very good and interesting. Like I think Lofty plays very interactive. I think Damien plays really sick. I think Kage is Ganon, so it's Ganon, but for a Ganon, he's cool, I guess. I don't know. I think for a Puff, I'm like pretty I'm not very lame for a Puff.
For a Puff, no.
I interact. I think my Marth is very cool.
That's true.
Other players are like fine, I guess. Our spacies aren't full hop campers, which is important. Very important.
That's true. Oh my god, could you imagine?
So many regions have like 6 boxes that just
Yes.
make love the top platform, and it's very boring.
Yes.
Not naming names, but you know who you are.
You know who you are. All right, man. Thank you, Colin.
Yep, no problem.
That was great.